Next, department activity, Captain.
Yep, for the period of October 24th through today, several notable incidents. During the spring of 2024, officers from the Patrol Division responded to 2 separate larcenies that occurred at Stop and Shop, our Good Wives Shopping Center. The Detective Bureau, working in concert with the Greenwich Police Department, identified 2 suspects, a female from Bridgeport and a male from Stamford. An arrest warrant was granted and both suspects were arrested during the first week of November. On July 25th of this year, officers responded to a motor vehicle theft at a residence on Holly Lane, where the victim reported that his vehicle was stolen, which contained his wallet and credit cards. The vehicle was later found unoccupied at another residence on Holly Lane, where another victim reported that their vehicle was then stolen. A comprehensive investigation identified a male suspect from Bridgeport who was linked to multiple thefts and fraudulent activities in the area. An arrest warrant was submitted and granted, and the subject was arrested on November 7th. In March of 2023, officers responded to a residential burglary on Saltbox Lane, where a lockbox containing $11,000 in cash and jewelry worth over $24,000 was stolen. In November 2023, the Connecticut State Lab developed a DNA profile from one piece of evidence collected at the crime scene, which was later matched to a Queens, New York resident. An arrest warrant was granted and the suspect was arrested on November 5th. On November 11th at approximately 2:46 p.m., patrol officers responded to a report of a stolen vehicle at a local car wash on Post Road. Officers arrived to find that a 2024 BMW X5 had been taken while waiting to be dried after completing its wash. The victim reported that an unknown vehicle traveling eastbound on Post Road stopped in front of the BMW. 2 male suspects then exited the suspect vehicle, entered the BMW, and drove off. No weapons were displayed or mentioned during the incident. It should be noted that the next day, our DB tracked that vehicle in Flushing, New York, and subsequently that vehicle was recovered and an arrest was made of a 19-year-old suspect. Some statistics: domestic disturbance incidents, 0. Identity theft incidents, 3. Motor vehicle burgs, total of 2 unlocked. Stolen motor vehicles, 2. Motor vehicle accidents, 30, 4 with an injury, 1 involving pedestrian bicyclist, 5 on private property. Traffic stops, 106. Calls for service, 941. Traffic Officer Bug conducted joint enforcement campaigns with Norwalk, New Canaan, and Wilton PD on October 28th, October 30th, and November 20th, targeting problem traffic areas in those towns and Darien. The department conducted a high visibility patrols on Mischief Night, Halloween, and Election Day with no reports of criminal or malicious activity. And lastly, the training division has had a successful rollout of the new firearms for all personnel during firearms fall qualifications. The handguns are now equipped with red dot sights and flashlights.
I think the joint enforcement is a terrific idea. I know we've done that in years past. You had mentioned, Chief. Is that something that we're done with for I guess the year is coming to an end anyway, but are we contemplating doing that again next year or TBD?
I think it's going to be something we're going to just continue with. All 4 police departments are recognizing the benefit that it provides to the individual towns and the traffic safety component that it is really providing. In fact, we were supposed to be out there today with those police departments, but we called it due to weather. But they were in Darien yesterday, and there was 36 additional traffic stops made in various sections of town that wouldn't have otherwise been made. I think the program is working out really well, and as I mentioned before, there's a mutual compact in place that allows us to work with Norwalk, Wilton, and New Canaan police departments. So we take turns in targeting hotspots, so to speak, in our respective jurisdictions, and the officers get to know each other. It's a great networking opportunity for all 4 police departments, and it's having an impact. So I think we'd like to see this program continue, and I know the officers are having some great success.
I think it's a great idea.
One other thing I wanted to point out, and I sound like a broken record when I commend the detective division for their follow-up work, and I'm going to commend them again here. But in recent weeks, we have had some incidents occur, and of course, social media in town takes off, and inaccuracies are spread like the game of telephone. And a lot of times, the embellishment of the incident makes it seem like something it wasn't. And not only are these incidents, nothing's helping, but people are asking, what is the Darien Police Department doing? How can we let this type of thing happen in our town? How can cars be stolen? A lot of people don't understand how we're limited and how we can respond to these incidents. But here's a perfect example. Last week, when a car got stolen from the car wash, that came in across social media and in moms groups and in other platforms that it was an armed robbery at gunpoint, which was completely inaccurate. And they wanted to know how the Darien Police Department let that happen and what are we doing about it. Well, the real story is that there were no weapons involved, but we stayed actively investigating that incident until we knew that an arrest was made and no further harm could be committed. So not only is it just the detective division following up, but it's our initial patrol response as well. Our officers that initially take those responses to these calls, if they don't handle those incidents properly from the start, it really kind of puts us behind the eight ball on what the detective division can do in a follow-up kind of part of the investigation. So great work by our patrol officers responding, and great work by our detective division following up on it, as you can see, on incidents that I'm sure we reported in previous police commission meetings. And you know, a lot of these end with investigation continuing or investigation ongoing. Well, here's 4 of them that are wrapped up with arrests made that I'm sure most of the residents forgot about, but we're pretty concerned about when they actually happen. So good work on all of our staff in these incidents.